And I would also like to invite Ms. Namita Methani on the stage to be on the dais with us. May I also request Mr. Rakesh Chandra Agarwal, Executive Chairman of the Environment and Consumer Protection Foundation, to join us on the dais, please. I think I might have gathered already 100 years plus of experience on the stage already, because the kind of people we have on the stage. So without saying anything further, I will pass on the speaking rights to our chief guest for the day. In spite of his tight schedule, he took out the time to be here, and it really is a motivation more than anything for us, because it's a gathering of youth, sir, and we really thank you for it. So may I request Justice Swatanter ji to please come over and share his initial thoughts with us.
Well, firstly, I must compliment and congratulate both the organizers and the co-organizers and their entire team for considering to hold an event of this kind, which intends to bring to the fore various environmental issues and not a particular issue in relation to environmental protection. Well, we are already sort of against the time, so I'll try to be as precise as possible, and at the outset I would ask for forgiveness from the entire team of organizers, Madam on the dais, that after speaking I will have to leave because of another commitment. Now, let me just tell you the sum, and before I really get on to the talk, I'm very happy to see that larger section of the youth is here. And if we have to understand what environment is and how we can protect it, it is certainly important that the youth participates in that functions, seminars, and in fact, it should be subject of the primary classes, that what is environment. I have a very strong view on one of the aspects, and that is we try to make environment as a very technical, sophisticated subject, which to my mind is the first mistake we commit. You have to make environment and environment understanding as common as possible, because to breathe, you don't have to be a scientist. You want to have clean water to drink. You don't have to be a scientist or an engineer or a judge or a lawyer or a sophisticated man. You have to be a common man on the road. Therefore, environmental consciousness should be as common, simple for people to understand so that they can implement it. Ladies and gentlemen, you would be happy to know that our Constitution is the only constitution in the world which provides for an environmental triangle, which is often called as, in the fundamental rights is called golden triangle of fundamental rights. So what we coined in the National Green Tribunal was the golden triangle of environment. The directive principles under the Constitution, they provide a duty on the state to protect natural resources, environment, rivers, water bodies, mountains, everything. Second aspect is where a constitutional duty has been imposed upon the citizens to protect the natural resources under Article 51 AG. where you are supposed to protect your natural resources and everything else in relation to nature. Then came Article 21 of the Constitution. Article 21 of the Constitution talks about right to life. The Supreme Court expanded this principle and stated that right to decent and clean environment is a fundamental right. Therefore, they expanded it. So that was the triangle. Obligation of the state, obligation of the citizens, and the right of the people at large. No constitution in the world provides such significance to the environmental protection in any country. If we are so environmentally conscious, how come we have great distinctions? The distinctions I talk about, and I'm really very sorry to mention these distinctions. We take a distinction of putting our lakes on fire. We take the distinction of having the hills of the municipal solid waste operative through the process of law. There are oppositions. What is the opposition? Not in my backyard. Don't do anything near my house. Do anything anywhere. That's what we do. When we talk of waste, let me tell you, I was speaking at the United Nations, and on my way I stood back at the New Zealand. In the taxi I told the gentleman, I said, what is this in front? And this is, I'm telling you, something like maybe around 9 years back. So the taxi driver stopped and he said, this is a waste plant. I said, really? I said, why don't you show me? So he took me there. So I had to introduce myself to the in charge of the plant, and I said, I'm very interested in having a look. Believe it or not, that plant sounded like a monument. It had no stink, it had no, gush of waste. It was a beautiful green thing, just a plant in middle. And you could have a walk there. Why can't we do this? And we as a nation is capable of doing wonders. India's heritage is so high. Can there be a country which worships trees, which worships rivers, which worships mountains, which worships air? We have devtas for all these. And we pray to them, we worship them. That is our heritage on environmental sciences. I don't know how many of you do know about it. If you go to Mahalakshmi temple in Tamil Nadu, that has 2 chakras drawn on its outer wall. They were drawn more than 700 years back. One is Ritu chakra, other is Mausam chakra. Think about it. That is our heritage on environmental consciousness. So you, the young blood, need to think about it very seriously. But, as rightly said in the morning, that hope is the best formation of resolving any problem. You must believe and hope that you can do it. And all of this is doable. The municipal solid waste is not an unsolvable issue. But all will have to get together. The people, no government can do it, no local authority can do it, no pollution control can do it, unless and until the public at large, and particularly the young section, gets together and makes it that this must happen. Why can't we apply the principles of converting waste into wealth? Why can't we apply simple principle like collection of a segregation waste? Why can't we diversify? Why does a plant which is established by incurring a capital cost of crores should go waste? Because the waste that you are getting to be treated is so mixed that it cannot be segregated, and therefore the plant should suffer. And then the plant gets a flop, then there are complaints, the plant is shut, then suddenly you find the Delhi roads full of municipal solid waste. We can't handle our labor properly. There is a strike, the whole effect is Delhi full of waste, and people get sick. Today, you know, everything is known as viral, The children, are we, just as I read there, for the next generation, that's what you write here in front? What are we talking about? Today those tiny little young children in the schools are having masks on their mouth. They cannot play because their teachers, parents don't let the children go to ground, and rightly so, because the extent of pollution, of whether you talk of PM10 or you talk of PM2.5 or you talk of any kind of element of air pollutant, they are so high that the children suffer, and they take antibiotics every 3 months. By the time they grow, we had a case before us in which we passed various directions, including the most unpopular decision of banning the diesel vehicles in Delhi. We carried out a study including the record made by UN, the UNEP, Central Pollution Control Board, state boards. He clubbed all the records together, then he invented and worked. According to him, every child born in Delhi within 10 years would be asthmatic. Is this what we are talking of, next generation? That is why Gandhiji said that if you can't give earth to the next generation in a better condition, at least give it in the condition that you received. I'm sure you people received it much better than what we are making it today. Therefore, it has to be a concerted and a collective effort. You have to take various measures. You have to be very careful. Air pollution in Delhi is not an insolvable issue. You don't have to. You have to get into the habit of not driving, one man driving 3 cars. That's not necessary. You have to get into the habit of common living. You have to protect yourself against, now pollution sources are dust, burning of waste, which is the most dangerous thing, which is now was mentioned about the cancer, talked about. The worst source to cancer cause is burning of plastic. Why can't we stop all this? You have brick kilns within the range, which are throwing emissions of a very serious nature. Then you have construction activity, which indiscriminately throws dust into the environment. Then you have industrial activity. Then you have vehicular pollution. Now, vehicular pollution, why can't we control it? So you have to. The judgment on air pollution provided every solution. If you implement it, then no question. Crop burning, why can't they be controlled? So with this kind of a thing, I only would firstly wish this conference a very big success. I hope you have the experts' views which give you a better vision and better solutions into the major problems of environmental concerns. And secondly, I was also told that they are going to prepare a white paper on after the conference, depending on the views expressed by the participant delegates, etc., which will be a very good thought. I would highly appreciate if you can send me the copy and of some help. But I really would end by saying, let's have a hope, but not a hope which is without substance of determination to do good, to discharge our constitutional duties. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
think the kind of thoughts he has just shared in those 15 minutes deserves a much louder round of applause. He has summed up what this event is all about and what we intend to drive over the next 2 days. And like he rightly said at the end, just hoping is not going to lead us anywhere. We need solutions on our side. And look at this room, it's full of solutions at the moment. I'm looking at the eyes of a few people and they're like, yes, I am the solution. I'm going to solve this problem. Right, so great. So and that's what we'll focus on over the coming 2 days. It's all going to be about solutions. Yes, we know, all of us know the problems because most of us are environmental enthusiasts already. And quickly moving on, then I'll request Sir has to leave like he mentioned.
Apologies, please.
Thank you for joining us on a tight schedule. Let's hear it for him again. We'll have a quick look at the exhibition area before leaving. So Namita is taking care of that. In the meantime, I'll request our guest of honor, Dr. Ranveer Singh Mahavar, to enlighten us for today.